somebody walk up to you in South Africa and they say, "Yay, boy," you just say, "Yay, boy," right back, because they're saying, "Welcome, brother and sister. Welcome. How you doing? I hope everything is fine." Okay, so I was showing you the 9 provinces of South Africa. South Africa is on the southernmost tip of the largest continent in the world, and we are going to the Gauteng province. Did I say it right? Gauteng province, which is actually the smallest province in this part of South Africa. So we land at O.R. Tambo International Airport. Anybody know who Tambo is? Anybody? Tambo was one of the Magnificent 8 that got locked up with Mandela. Okay, so once we arrive, we can go ahead and skip to the next slide, please. We will be checking into the Da Vinci Hotel. Da Vinci Hotel, in my opinion, is one of the best hotels in South Africa. It is a 4-star hotel, but that's their ranking from 1 to 4. So it is a very nice accommodation. They provide breakfast for us, and they have wonderful views of the city. And tap to the next page, please. That's a picture of the hotel. Panoramic views. It's beautiful, and that's Jozi in the background. Jozi is short for Johannesburg. J-O-Z-I. If anybody says, "Hey, are you from Jozi?" say no. I'm from the States. But Jozi is Johannesburg. Next slide, please. And the Da Vinci is located on Mandela Square. So Mandela Square was built, of course, in honor of him. He was still alive when they built it, but it has fantastic shopping, ladies and gentlemen. Get your rand together, because Mandela Square has all of the shops that you would normally see at Magnificent Mile. Those grade of shops. So same prices, right? Well, our money converts, so we get like right now it's 13 to 1. So if something is 100 rand there, if something is 1,300 rand there, it's $100 for us. So I don't know, Gucci shoes, 1,300. I'll buy those. So Mandela Square, that's where we'll be staying at the Da Vinci, and then you'll spend the night there. And Mary will provide a welcome reception for you guys, where there'll be drinks and dinner, of course, because you'll be coming off of your flight. So we want to feed you and welcome you, and that's big in South Africa. Usually some of Mommy's friends come out to meet our American guests, because they want you to know that they welcome you and they want you to come. And sometimes they may open up their house. I don't know. It depends on how many people sign up for this tour today and write us a check. But if you guys come, you will definitely be embraced by South African culture from the moment this excursion starts, right? So that's the welcome reception. Next slide. Those are my words. That's the pop quiz for later, in case anybody want to cheat and take notes. Joking. Your first day in Jozi. So spend the night at the Da Vinci. Wake up the next day, you have 3 options. Mary explained the options to you. One of them is going to Lesedi Village. Are we on this slide?
Let me see. No. Do I need to go up?
Go up one more, I think.
Day in Jozi. One more. Lesedi Village. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right, so Lesedi Village is a cultural center, and they actually hire people to provide a visual of what life was like for these indigenous people. I always want to say tribe, but that's offensive, so never say tribe. Okay. So, anybody know this one? Next slide. I know y'all know a famous Zulu person. And his name is, there we go, now we're being interactive. Next slide, please. $1,000 to the person that can pronounce this. I'm joking.
Let me see.
Anybody?
Ndebele.
Ndebele? It's Ndebele. Ndebele tribe. These will be the ladies that you'll see the gold bands up all the way up their leg, or the gold bands. I have my beautiful cousin was gonna model the gold banded necklace that her auntie. But those are the Ndebele people. You will see them there. They even have the huts, and the way that their homes were built, and the way that the cattle was corralled, and the way that they cook their food. They show all of that for each individual tribe, by the way. Next slide, please.
Tribe.
Slide, please. I say tribe. See, I keep doing that. This is the petty people. Petty people were passive people. The Zulus ran them up into the mountains, so that's why they always have on a lot of clothes, but that's the petty people. And we will also see, can anybody say this one? Go to the next slide, please. I'm going kind of fast. This is my favorite person, Madiba Xhosa. He's the Xhosa. We had the Xhosa language. We should be on Cradle of Humankind. This is the location where the oldest bones are currently located. Sarah, I think that's her name, is a black woman, and they found her bones and they aged her bones back to being the oldest bones, and they're located in the next slide, please. Sterkfontein caves. So we would actually go down into the cave where they started digging, and a little bit of history behind this. Some guy bought it. He thought he was going to do some agriculture on the land. They started digging and started finding artifacts, and they kept digging and found these bones. Can you imagine? Thinking you're going to have a garden, and the next thing you have is like the most expensive thing in the whole wide world, the oldest bones on the face of the earth. So that's in the Sterkfontein caves. There's actually a ride that is something, I guess it's like a roller coaster, but it doesn't go fast, but it takes you down and into the cave, and you can go actually to where they located the caves, the bones. So it's really fun and really interactive. It's very educational. It was the best part of my trip when I went. It was great. Next slide, please. And that's just the skull of one of the individuals found down in the cave. That was a child, by the way. So this is not Mrs. Ples. Mrs. Ples is the oldest, but that is the skull of a child. So option number 3, next slide, please. If you so choose, you guys can take the trip to Soweto. Where is Soweto? Anybody know anything famous about Soweto?
Riots.
Riots! The children of South Africa uprise and started what we now know as the end of apartheid. So that's in Soweto. And we can go to the next slide, but I just want to say in Soweto you will see Peterson. What's his first name? Hector Peterson was the student that was protesting that was killed by the police. And all the other students came and they was like, we ain't having it. And they just started rioting, going crazy and marching through the streets every day until eventually apartheid, they gained national recognition, which made the UN and the United States and other companies look at it and say, wait a minute, this isn't right. We have to do something about this. And that's when companies like Coca-Cola pulled their products off the shelf and said, hey, until you guys get it together, this president needs to step down, Mandela needs to come out of prison, and all of this needs to change. That was 1994. I was 17 years old, and I remember every moment of it. So for something that monumental, for my mom, she knows the civil rights movement, right? But for me, I know the end of apartheid because I have friends that are my age that was in apartheid as a child. So that's really like sensitive to me. I really get emotional thinking about it. So if you guys decide to go to Soweto, bring your tissues because it is interesting. So that's a picture of Johannesburg at night on the next slide, which is beautiful. At night, the city line, the skyscape, the views and everything. However, you are not to venture alone or take a Uber and go into downtown Johannesburg without me or my mom or a tour guide with you, period. I don't even need to talk about it, do we? Okay. Next slide, please. All right, so the next day after one of the option days, right? So at the end of that, you guys will have like a free day to do whatever you want, potentially go shopping or whatever, have dinner. But the very next day, we're gonna get on a bus and we're gonna go to safari. Anybody excited about the safari? Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna go to Bakubang. Now, this will be my 3rd time going to Bakubang Lounge. It is fabulous, and the time that you guys are going, guess what? Dead heat. So the animals and stuff are what? Thirsty. So they're all gonna be around the watering holes, and you're gonna see. I went in December this time for the first time in my life, 14 years. I saw everybody. All the big 5. Somebody can name the big 5, I'll give you $1,000.
Elephant, hippopotamus.
Anybody, give me one. Give me one. Elephant. Okay, give me one more.
Giraffe. Don't say lion.
Hippopotamus.
No,
lion.
No tigers. No hippos on the big 5, but
The lion.
give me one more. What's the cat?
Water buffalo?
Lion.
You got
You got one. That's a water buffalo. We got elephant and water buffalo. And what's the cat?
The lion.
Leopard.
We got. Who said lion?
Lion.
Okay, you get 10 cents instead of 1,000.
You said that.
What's the next?
10 cent
Who said leopard? Who said leopard? Yeah, you get a dime too. And then so now we have 4. We got one more.
Wildebeest.
No, you said it before. Say it again.
Wildebeest.
The one you said before.
You said it.
Water buffalo. Yay, we got them all. Next slide, please. And there they are, and they're beautiful. Oh, we forgot rhino. How did I forget rhino and I had 5?
Those are 5 main.
Somebody said rhino for
King
me.
of the jungle. Like the main.
And there's the big 5 and there's Splendor. And you will see more than likely all of them, but I know you'll see giraffe and kudzu. What's their name? The ones that with the antlers that look like deer. Antelope, but they're not. They're kudu. And all of the animals will be out and about because it's hot. So at Battambang, you'll have an AM safari and a PM safari. If I could just finish my sentence, at Battambang, you'll have an AM and a PM safari. You can choose either one. So I prefer the PM because that's when it's cooler and the animals come out to drink water. So, all right. So then we come back to the Da Vinci. The next day we check out of the Da Vinci Hotel. We board a flight, short flight. It's like from Chicago to Atlanta, maybe an hour. Now South Africa is the southernmost province, but now we're going to the southernmost tip of South Africa. And that's the Western Cape. That's the name of the province, but the city is called Cape Town. And Cape Town is known for its wonderful music, and that is jazz. I'm gonna need y'all to be more interactive. You know where y'all going.
We educated. We educated. We'll know when we leave.
Okay. Well, Cape Town is known for its jazz culture. Huge jazz culture. And it's actually, they claim it to be where jazz was birthed. So it'll be music everywhere, music all around, and that's Cape Town. And when we arrive at Cape Town, we will be checking in. We should be on this slide now. The Commodore Hotel. Probably have to do it about 2 or 3 times. Anybody see the Commodore? Mm-hmm. This hotel is located right on the VA waterfront, which has the views of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, some people say if you drive to the southernmost point and go around and up a hill, you can see where the oceans meet and one side is blue and one side is green. I've been there. I couldn't tell. But it was cloudy, so you never know. You could see it. Pictures depict it. But if you see a picture of that area, you see blue on one side and green on the other side. But we'll be on the Atlantic Ocean side and staying at the Commodore Hotel. Next slide, please. I think I forgot to tell y'all that last time. I'm sorry. And after we check in and get situated and have a moment to refresh and regenerate, we'll have dinner at Gold's Restaurant. Are we on Gold's? Everybody see Gold's Restaurant? I don't want to give away a lot because I picked this restaurant. My mom's like, why do you always want to go there? I always want to take people to Gold's Restaurant because it's an experience more than it is dinner. I would even say have you a snack before you go because the cuisine is African, not just South African, African. So they're gonna have potentially wild boar and what's another delicacy that I don't eat?
That you don't eat and you picked it?
But you have to experience it. It's all about the experience. Then you can go home and say, I tasted wild boar. And you know what? It was good. The wild boar is good. A boar is a pig. It's good. It's good. But the one that I don't eat is the...
she don't eat pig.
I forgot. But ostrich, we'll have samples of ostrich meat. Ostrich meat is actually very good and lean and good for you. And that black peppercorn on one side is, the way they grill it, it's good. I'm telling people like, oh, I don't want ostrich. Ostrich is good. It's a beautiful, majestic bird, but it's good if you eat it. It's better than our chickens, I tell you that. So that's Gold's Restaurant, and it is some more to that I don't want to share with y'all because I want to leave some stuff for an element of surprise because it is a very nice place to go. Okay, now Cape Town is known as the best city in the world. Why do we love Cape Town? Cape Town has 3 things working for it. It has Table Mountain. Anybody ever heard of Table Mountain? The tallest elevation in South Africa, and the top part is totally flat. Only place in the world where you can find penguins. Penguins live at the top of Table Mountain. So they have these cable cars that take you from the bottom up to the top of the mountain, if you so choose to do so, and the weather is permitting, because if it's a day like this, you can't even see halfway up the mountain. But if it's a nice clear day and the wind's not blowing too much, because you don't want to be on the cable car when the wind blowing, right? So if you can manage to get up to the top of the mountain, they give you a certificate to say, hey, we made it to the top of Table Mountain, but a lot of folks don't because the weather never permits, right? So that's Table Mountain. The other thing that Cape Town has going for it is where the oceans meet, right? We talked about that. And then the other thing that Cape Town, which made it voted one of the best cities in the world, is their jazz culture, and you guys will get a chance to indulge in some of that. So next slide, please. Another place where you should bring your tissues. Are we all here?
That's it.
Robin Island?
Robin Island. Anybody know anything about Robin Island? Robin Island is not an island. It is not a place where you want to be. It is the place where the Dutch, who incorporated who inhabited, I guess I'll say, Southern Africa for quite a long time, sent lepers. They abolished them to Robin Island, and they sent them, and that is where they went to die. That's basically pretty much it, right? But then, when apartheid came, well, when apartheid was going on, they said, we don't have enough space for these inmates, because they were arresting people of color by the boats. So they decided, we're going to ship them over to the place where we had the lepers a century ago. So they built a prison there. And there's one famous South African that I love the most that was there for quite a long time, 20 years. Anybody know his name?
Biko?
He was there too, O.R. Tambo. But who else? Mandela, Madiba, my daddy. He was there for 20 years. And if y'all ever saw a picture of Madiba, he was always like this, right? When he got out of prison, he was always like this. Because they had him mining the lime caves. And the lime dust got in his eyes and caused partial blindness. Nobody said. They was like, oh, we let him go. He's healthy. No, he was partially blind because he had lime dust in his face for so long. But he was there for 20 years. And the story that I like to hear about Madiba being on Robben Island was that he ended up befriending a South African guard. That guard ended up coming to his funeral and being his friend. They were friends. Like, can you imagine? The guards beat them on the regular, didn't feed them on the regular. And here Madiba is such a peaceful and such a commanding presence that he was able to make this man who was his natural enemy by their environment a friend. And that man touched his heart so much that he came to his funeral when he died. I love that story. So, Robben Island, next slide. You'll see my beautiful cousin on the front. So, that night will be New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. And New Year's Eve we will spend at the VA waterfront, and they have a fantastic crowd. I can't even say how many hundreds of thousands of people that descend upon the VA waterfront for the fireworks show, and all the restaurants stay open late. And it's New Year's Eve, but what we like to do and what's special to Tri-Africa Tours and Conferences is that we hire a yacht. And we take the yacht out on the VA for the night. And we watch the fireworks in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean where everything is around you black. You don't see anything but the fireworks in the sky. And we get so up close on them, they're right over your head. So the picture that you see here is a group that came with us 2 years ago. And we have our all-white party. And we have it on the yacht called, next slide please. It's okay. This is our yacht. His name is Tigger 2. It's not our yacht. I just like to say that because it sounds like we rich. We not. So this is our yacht. This is Tigger 2, and it holds. We usually sell out Tigger 2. So if depending on how many people write us that check today, it'll be mostly all of us there, and we do an all-white party with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. And that's how we spend our New Year's Eve, watching the fireworks over at the VA waterfront. Does that sound good to anybody?
No, yeah.
All right, next slide. Let me show you a little bit about the VA waterfront. It should be a play sign in the middle of the screen. Go ahead and tap that play sign and watch that at your leisure. So now I want to tell you a little bit about what you're dining on, because this is what? Taste of South Africa, right? So we wanted to give you a little taste of some traditional braai food. And a braai in South Africa is what we call a barbecue in the United States. So they just throw a bunch of meat on an open flame, literally. An open flame, throw a bunch of meat on it. But this particular sausage right here is called a boerewors. And that's what we're tasting, but those are the spicy ones. But traditionally coiled and grilled that way. And the other part of the dish that you have in front of you is called pap. It looks like grits. It has the texture of maybe mashed potatoes, but a little more coarser. And if they saw you eating it with a fork, they would laugh at you because you're supposed to pick it up and mush it together like your grandmama did collard greens and cornbread, and then just eat it with your hand. But that's pop. And then the other thing that kind of looks like salsa maybe is called chacalaca, and chacalaca is a seasoning. You might find chacalaca stew or chacalaca vegetables or something like that. So what'd you say? Oh, so chacalaca is basically a condiment, I guess I want to say like salsa, but it's also a seasoning that's heavily used in a lot of South African cuisine for its flavor. So there's onions and tomatoes and it's stewed all together. And so those three things are like the infrastructure of the braai, right? Wherever you go, whenever you go there, you will see those three things there. So we just wanted you to taste it. How it tastes? Anybody? Is that right? Not a fan of the chacalaca, but I do the pap. I do the pap with maybe some, what's it called again? Orange, great, yeah. And then the sausage can be any type of sausage, but this one is boerewors. All right, so any questions about the cuisine? I know y'all gonna eat that ostrich when y'all get over there. The boerewors, how did I say it? Boerewors sausage. I just want to tell you guys about another part of your trip. Pilanesberg, we're going to Pilanesberg. Pilanesberg is a huge, like, it's enclosed, I guess. How could I compare it to what are those parks called with the city of Chicago? They have all of those reserves, forest reserves. It's like that, but it's the size of Texas, right? So the hotel that we're staying at, Bakuban, they have the right to bring us there. And other safari lodges around Pilanesberg also have the right to bring tourists in there, right? So now over the years, the animals, they're not tagged like other safaris. You know, they tag them and track them. We go at the right time to find out when the animals and where they are. And we listen, and if you say, oh, I think I see something, they'll bag the Jeep up and go around another way and try to find the animals. So they're not tagged. It's not inhumane, but it is a enclosed private reserve is what I'm trying to say. So but there's no need for the shotgun. If something is coming to it, like an elephant charged us once when we were on. It was the funnest thing ever. No, seriously, an elephant, we were all taking pictures of the elephant, and we were like, oh, look at the elephant. And everybody was like taking out their camera like, oh, look at the elephant. They just kept saying, look at the elephant. Look at the elephant. Oh my God, look at the, everybody started, and they was like, shh, don't scream, because they don't know us. We visitors in their house. All he did was bag up and pull away and go the other way, and the elephant was like, where y'all going? I just wanted to play. Like, well, I thought y'all came. The last time we were there, we saw a family of lions, and the mama lion came, and she poked her head up out of that tall grass that matched her fur, and she was right there on the side of our Jeep. And she looked, and she looked around. She saw the Jeep. They used to us now. She walked on across the street, belly full. They had just eaten. And then here come a little little cubs walking across the street. And we all this way like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. My husband like, Adrian. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm getting a picture of her. He was like, look over here. And it was Mustafa. He was sitting right there. Mustafa was in the grass making sure that his kids and his wife, one of his wives, crossed the street and went over to the watering hole because they was thirsty. And he came out, stretched a little bit, sat in the middle of the road, looked at us, said, what's up? What's up? Walked across the street and got up with his wife and kids. They not bothering us. We don't have to shoot them. They're not going to do nothing. They happy to see us because I guess they trying to figure out what we are. These smells and stuff that they've never smelled before being in their home. So open their Jeep. It's covered by just a rag top, but both of the sides are open. There's one or two guides depending, but usually a good guide on the road, but all they say is to be quiet and limit your flash photography if it's at night, and that's it. It's simple. It's easy. It's the best thing you have. If you go to South Africa and don't go on safari, shame on you, because that is the most important part of the whole trip, to go on South Africa and see the what? The Big Five. I'm gonna make y'all name them if y'all don't participate. District 6 Museum. Does that sound familiar? District 6? Does that sound familiar at all? Nothing? They filmed a movie about aliens coming to Africa, and for some reason it was District 6, I don't know. But District 6 is named for that because it's the 6th municipal district of Cape Town. In 1967 it got its name. There's a museum there, you can walk through it, and there's also something called Green Market Square where you can spend a lot of money if you're not careful, because There's like a lot of handmade art and trinkets and jewelry and clothes. I buy, you know, those skirts that everybody's wearing now that cost about $100. 35. Oh, wow. 35. You can get the hair wrap to match for another 10 if you can negotiate. And negotiating at Green Market Square is the key. Don't pay full price or nothing. If you got a question, ask me or my mama. But we're going to tell you when the best deals are, right? Because you can always say, oh, well, you know, I got 16 people with me. We're all going to shop here and you'll get a deal. So don't buy nothing without us, okay? You will pay full price. And that is Green Market Square. And the next day will be a day at your leisure. And then the next day we will be flying from Cape Town to OR Tambo. No time to wait. We're going to jump on our flight and head back to Washington.
We'll leave on the 26th, get there well before time for the connecting flight to South Africa. I think we got people there about noon, 11, between
most
11
of the flights
and noon.
That we connect
just so
in
you're
Washington
not rushed or anything, you get to check in.
And maybe noon or 1 p.m.
And
the
weren't
flight
they
to
checked,
Washington
wasn't the
leave to go to
baggage
South
checked
Africa
through from
until
Chicago?
6. Huh?
Wasn't the baggage checked through once you
Yes.
weren't in Chicago?
Yes.
Was the baggage checked?
Yes, it checks it straight through to Johannesburg when you check
You don't, once you drop your baggage in your main airport, so you guys will be Chicago, it goes through. You don't see it.
Okay.
And that being said, pack well. December you don't need, well at nighttime you may need a shawl or a sweater over your arms or something like that because it tends to, in Cape Town it's windy, not really chilly but windy at night because of the mountain air, so we got the ocean hitting the mountain and coming back on you. So it's doing that to you, so it might get windy in Cape Town. But other than that, pack lightly, people. So, that being said, South Africa is also known for their famous wine. They have so many wineries and so many, oh, we don't have an option to go to a winery on the December trip.
They have an option on
They're 3-day. To take a wineland tour, which I kind of recommend a wineland tour if you're into wine. It's a great experience. You go to a vineyard, it's a gorgeous place. They have the vineyard out and you can go and look at that. But the wine tasting, they pair it with chocolate and it's just amazing to just taste it. And we're also going to let anybody who does not want to drink should let me know because we're going to taste some South African wine right now as part of our presentation. And that concludes your journey, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?